I'm Dr. Divya Navani. Good afternoon, and we are going to have a great women's forum. And I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Geeta Nath to get us started.
Thank you, Divya. Hello, a very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to our AAPI 2025 Women's Forum. AIP Cincinnati, our local chapter, welcomes all of you to the Queen City. Our exciting and important topic for today is unstoppable leadership, breaking through the barriers of imposter syndrome. I welcome Dr. Divya Navani, the AAPI Women Physicians Committee Chair. Dr. Navani is an internist with a passion for health. She has loved serving her patients for over 2 decades. She's also deeply committed to supporting physicians through life's challenges and stresses through coaching, writing, and public speaking. Let us all welcome Dr. Divya Navani.
Thank you. Can I have my slide deck, please? Prashantji in the back. Okay, I'm going to start.
Good afternoon. First, I want to say how sorry I am not to be there with you in person. I'm currently pregnant and I've been navigating it.
Okay, my slide deck, but I'll start while they locate it. Who here has waited for residency to be over? Who here, yeah, me too, all hands and feet up. Who here has waited to be an attending? Who here has waited for their first job? I have. So you all know what I'm talking about. I had worked hard my entire life. I had an enviable academic record. I won the National Science Talent Scholarship. It's a merit award, national, which I got for all the way from high school to the end of medical school. Those of you who are from India know how selective and prestigious that award is. There's more. I landed here in this country quite suddenly in June of 1993. And I ended up taking Flex 1, Flex 2, USMLE 1 and USMLE 2, all within a matter of 2 to 3 months with minimum preparation, cleared them. By August, I was done. By September, I had a residency spot. Did residency, did well, and here I was finally waiting for my first job. I was excited. My parent institution offered me a job. I was flattered. Took the job, did well, and a year later, we were relocating. So I go to the HR office to finish some paperwork. The lady looks at me and says, that's odd. You know you were eligible for CME, allowance and benefit, paid time off, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. I signed the papers and I left. That day in the car, I was confused, angry at myself, ashamed even. What happened? What was I thinking? I knew. All my residents, colleagues, had signed up for jobs in front of me, and they all had a benefits package. How was it that I did not even think to ask for something that everyone was getting without asking for it? Not only that, let's see if this is gonna work. No. Okay, not only that, a few months before that, I had helped my then husband negotiate his first job. We combed through the contract, spent weeks negotiating. I came as a force, stood by his side. I was not going to let him settle for anything less than he deserved. When it was my turn, I just bypassed everything. I remember a small voice in my head said, you should feel lucky that you have that job. You better grab it before it goes away. Jump. And I jumped. I grabbed the job. I signed it in less than a week. Did not ask a single question. That day I promised myself, never again. I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to ask for what I'm worth. Years later, I realized that what I had experienced has a name. It is called Imposter Syndrome. Highly educated men and women don't feel that they are enough, don't feel that they are competent, despite a long list of achievements and accolades. Women physicians, women in healthcare particularly experience this. In fact, 1 in 2 women physicians experience imposter syndrome. Look around you. Imposter syndrome is in this room here today. And that's why we're here talking about it. Imposter syndrome starts early, and I have had to fight it every step of the way to be standing here in front of you as a leader. And do you think it doesn't come for me now? It does. It came for me as I was writing this speech. It came for me as I was even thinking of standing here on this stage today. But you know what I do? I feel the negative feelings. I hear the negative thoughts. And then I come armed for the battle. I come armed with my list of facts. It is a fact that I became a physician by 23 years of age. It is a fact that I have cleared every single exam that I have taken. It is a fact that I'm an excellent physician. It is a fact that I have successfully treated thousands of people in my career. It is a fact that I have helped hundreds of friends and family with medical advice. It is a fact that I have stood here on stage, not here, many stages like this, spoken to audiences like you many, many times. And it is a fact that there are people here in the audience today who think that I'm capable enough to be standing here. So I come armed with my list of facts. To some of you, that list may have sounded long, maybe even pompous. But listen closely. I am showing you something. I'm preparing you for your battle with imposter syndrome. The voices inside and out are loud and they are persistent. So you have to come armed with your list of facts. And let me tell you something. If you have done it, it's not bragging. It is a fact. Learn the difference between false humility, false pride, facts, and bragging. Leadership is hard. Imposter syndrome is real. It has been shown beyond a doubt that women physicians spend more time with their patients and they have better patient outcomes. Your patients need you. The world needs you. You have to stand up. And when you do, you have to remember that the women behind you who have fought for you to be here today are celebrating you. And the women that are going to come are thanking you. And with this, I am going to invite these powerful leaders here today to share their stories. Dr. Nath, our local AIP chapter president, if I can get this right, a leader in her own right. She has been an internist for 25 plus years. Dr. Nath.
Thank you, Dr. Navani, for the very insightful and thought-provoking presentation and opening up this wide array of a topic that's often not talked about. We request everyone in the audience to hold your questions till the end of the forum. I am now honored to welcome Deborah Hayes. Debbie is a leader in one of the most esteemed hospitals in the city of Cincinnati. She serves as president and CEO of the Christ Hospital Health Network, a $3 billion integrated healthcare system serving 15 counties across Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. Under her leadership, the network has earned magnet designation 4 times and has been nationally recognized by US News and World Report, Newsweek, Health Grades, TrueWin, and Premier. Debbie serves on various boards, including the American Hospital Association, Trinity Health, and Ohio Hospital Association, and United Way. She began her career in 1987 as a nurse's aide and advanced through progressive leadership roles including critical care, clinical nurse specialist, chief nursing officer, chief information officer, and chief operating officer. Let us all welcome Deborah Hayes.
Are we on? Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And it's such a pleasure to be here. And you know, when I was asked by Dr. Navani to talk about imposter syndrome, I thought, well, first of all, why would she ever ask me? And I thought to myself when I read the definition of imposter syndrome, well, that's me. And why do I say that? So I've been at my organization for 38 years. And if you would have asked me 25, 35 years ago, would you ever be the CEO of the Christ Hospital Health Network? The answer to that would have been no. And why do I say that? Because it's all about imposter syndrome. Why would I be able to do that? Why am I allowed to have the privilege of doing that? And what makes me so special that that's what I can be? And when I read the definition of imposter syndrome, an experience, a psychological experience that causes people to doubt their skills and successes, I thought, that's me. Because when I was growing up, I was the oldest child. I have 2 brothers. One is 2 years younger than I am. One is 12 years younger than I am. And so I was the first girl in our family and in our lineage to ever go to college. And the expectations were very, very high. And as I read about imposter syndrome, it talks about perfectionism. And you know, there's a lot of pressure on our young people today, and even for me in all of these years, to be perfect, right? And I think I thought I had to be perfect. So when I got my master's degree in biology and genetics, I wanted to go to medical school, but I didn't think I was good enough to do that. I think back now, and I think I could have done that. And when I got my first job as a nurse, I thought, I'm not good enough to be a critical care nurse, but yet I did. And when I became the chief nursing officer, I thought, can I really, really do this? But yet I did. And when I became the chief operating officer, someone said to me, you know, you're just a nurse. You're not going to be able to do this. But I did. And when someone said to me, I need someone to take over the information systems department because we have a critical need, and I need us to transform our health system in 365 days, I said, I can't do that. But I did. And then when I became the CEO in the middle of the pandemic, October of 2020, someone said to me, are you sure you can really do that? But yet I did. And how did I do that? How do you take that imposter syndrome and overcome it. Well, Dr. Navani was talking about the facts, right? Well, the facts are born out of energy and enthusiasm and persistence and resilience. And I always thought to myself, I'll just let the facts speak for myself, because the facts are the truth. And it is hard to refute the facts, despite what everyone might want you to do. And it's hard to dispute the facts in your own head after so many attempts, sometimes failures, yes, but other times the successes are certainly a motivator to continue. And my father always used to ask me, why do you have so many degrees behind your name? I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in biology and genetics. I have a bachelor's degree in nursing. I have a master's degree in nursing. I have a master's degree in informatics and a master's in business administration. Yes, I've never stopped graduating. But why is that? And I think back now about our conversation, it's because I thought I probably can't do this. But how was I going to overcome that? Let me gain knowledge, let me gain strength, and let the facts speak for themselves. So I'm very pleased to be there, and I have to be honest with you, when Dr. Navani called me, I thought, why would she call me, right? Why would she call me? Because I'm just Debbie Hayes. I'm nothing special. I haven't done anything special. I do what I love to take care of our community, but why me? But now I listen to her amazing story, and I see all of you out here. It's really all about we are what we are, and we are important people, and we have a lot to offer, and regardless of who challenges us, most of us in this room have thought about, well, now how do I make it happen when the impossible seemed the impossible? Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, for sharing your journey with us and the wisdom you have shared today. You serve as an inspiration for many in our community. Let us move on to the next portion of our forum. I would like to invite Ms. Jessie Torres. Jessie is a globally recognized peak performance coach and life strategist. She has transformed the lives of thousands over the past 18 years. Jessie's client-first approach combines mindset reprogramming, emotional intelligence, energy work, and strategic guidance. She's known for creating profound, lasting breakthroughs that help people turn trauma into purpose and pain into passion, what she calls fierce grace. Let's welcome Jessie Torres.
Thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be here. Thank you, Dr. Navani, for inviting me. So I'm going to give you a different perspective on imposter syndrome. Now, I have slides, but honestly, I think the power comes with understanding the depths of the PhD. Now, give me the clicker. So I don't have a PhD, but where I do have a PhD is in the depth of my own darkness, in being brought down to my knees so many times that I didn't know which way was up. So where it begins for me in imposter syndrome is having entered a marriage at such a young age, at 18 years old, and with my husband at the time, we both knew we had trauma. And so we decided we weren't going to allow our children to have the traumas that we did. So he had an alcoholic mother. I had abuse with my father. So we're like, okay, let's not bring that into our journey. And we thought we fixed it. So what happens is we maintain this persona of the perfect family. We were going to have the white picket fence, the dog, the cat, and it was going to be great. And so if I could tell you how many times we were going to an event and I had to redo my makeup in order to present myself, I'd lost count. Why? Because the internal trauma, the pain that we had both experienced, we didn't realize we were bringing that into the marriage, all the micro traumas around the big traumas, the ones that we know, right? But the feeling not enough, the feeling that my abuse with my father left me dirty and unlovable. That was my interpretation of who I was. But if I could be pretty enough and thin enough and a good wife and a good mom, then I'll be enough. And it's like a cat chasing its tail. It never is enough. I could never clean up the messes. I could never shield my kids from my husband's rage. Enough. And I constantly felt like a failure. But I wanted to make sure the outside world knew that we were the best family ever. And my family comes from this saying that says, "What will they say?" That saying I didn't learn until years after my divorce. I didn't know that was something that I was taught to live my life and to be governed by. What will they say? So clean the makeup, Jessie. Clean the house, Jessie. Make sure the kids are okay, and make sure that my husband's rage doesn't affect them. And thinking that I could be the middle ground and protect them, the shield, thinking that that was enough, and not knowing how much they were in suffering. So imposter syndrome comes in many forms. The question is, when did we decide that we weren't enough? When? Who told us? Who made that story? For some people, they've been deliberately told. Well, if you don't have a PhD, who are you? If you haven't served this many patients, who are you? If you don't show up ready and gung-ho, then you're not as good as the next person. So we start to move away from our own divinity, our own essence, our own beauty, our own magnificence. And oftentimes we think we've healed our traumas, and for some of us, maybe we have healed the big ones, but we don't understand it's an unconscious conditioning we bring to the table that we don't recognize. We don't know that our next accomplishment, our next achievement is to fall back in love with ourselves. And from that place, everything is glorious. So I'll go ahead and run through my slides, but I wanted to honor each of you because each of you being here, you're looking for excellence, you're looking for that next level, and you've already achieved it just by being here, just by taking your breath, just by singing last night, and continuing to love on each other and connect with each other. Trust that that is what humanity is looking for, the essence of the human being. And although I honor each of you for your achievements and for your accomplishments, I'm not here to diminish any of it. It's powerful, and we need you. But we need you whole. We need you from a place of divinity, not just facts. That will change the world. So I'll run through these really quickly, but that's what I really want you to get. If you would have told me, like Deb, that I would be on stage today, years ago, I would have laughed. I was the little girl in the back of the classroom peeing her pants because the teacher was going to call on her. That was me. Never ever would I have imagined I would be here. But my journey, not only through my abuse with my father, but then my abuse with my husband, and then both my brothers being murdered, 30 years apart, has brought me to my knees enough to know that ultimately what the human spirit wants is our love. It's our forgiveness. It's our divinity. Not our parents, not our neighbors, not the doctor down the row. Our divinity. And trust that when you bring that to the table, you are unstoppable. Now people will connect with you on a level that they don't even understand. How do you know? It's like you see through my skin. And we need you. We need you to bring all the facts. We need you to bring all the certifications, but we need your soul. You, with your soul gone, it becomes a doing versus a being. And that can be exhausting. And that's why we have so much burnout. So I'll run through these. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to see them here. I guess not. Okay. So here are some of the things that happen when we are living through imposter syndrome. And high achievers. You're all high achievers because, man, you've done a lot to get here. Congratulations. But if you do it without your soul, without your wholeness, there's a part of you that's being left behind. There's a part of you that is crying out for you. And if we don't stop to recognize that, guess what? We think the answer to all our wholeness is on either the next certification or the husband or the wife or if my kids' successes. That'll make me enough. And so we gotta come back to the purity of our own spirit. Understand and decide that you matter. Your smile matters. And you guys being out there serving humanity the way you do, bring your essence. That's magical. That's healing. To where, yes, you can come in and you can do surgery, but your presence in the room already begins the healing. That's why we need you. So here are some definitions, but I think we've talked about what imposter syndrome is, and what it invites is comparison, right? Comparison, perfectionism. It's never enough. If I just do the next thing, if I just handle this way, I don't belong here, not enough. Lack of appreciation of self, lack of fulfillment, starts to really hurt when you don't believe that anything you do will ever give you what you lost so long ago. And what we don't realize is that the loss of our essence or the loss of our own value is in the first moment that we lost safety. You know, as children, we're innocent and we're beautiful and we're just playful and we make friends right on the playground. Hey, you want to play? Yes, let's go play. There's nothing in the way. And then that one kid takes your lunchbox and you enter hypervigilance or unsafety. Or the parent says, you know, if you don't blink, then you're not going to make it. Or a teacher. Something like as simple as, ooh, you got a bad grade. Oof, kid, you're going to have a hard life. Teacher doesn't even know, not a bad person, just had an outside thought that engraves a chip in your brain that says, I'll never ever be able to be enough as the rest of them. It's an unconscious conditioning that we don't even know was placed on our essence. And now it's time to unravel it. Constant trying to prove yourself. Like I said earlier, a cat chasing its tail. Disconnection in emotions. Right? Let's get to more doing. The more I do, the more I'll be enough. And we disconnect from our own emotional well-being. So much so that I just had a client today, actually earlier today, that she had her first conversation with her husband. Her husband thanked her and said, this is a conversation we've been meaning to have for 30 years. And now they had it. Because they were so busy raising kids, doing the family, going to work, making the money, buying the things, that they had disconnected from each other. And it just became routine. Achievement starts to feel hollow. I had another friend who has double masters and he would get the certificate, throw it in the drawer and go next, go next. He didn't even go to his own graduations because it was just his worthiness he was chasing. And yes, of course, it leads to burnout. We need you whole. Your patients trust you, but do you trust you? And do you trust your own worthiness? Here are some ways that you guys have educated yourself. Medicine taught you to lead with logic, but we start to suppress our emotions and we just behave versus actually allow our essence to come through. And we're starving for that connection. We're starving for somebody to see us wholly. This is a cycle. You start to believe you're alone. You don't recognize that there's others out there suffering like you and that they don't understand. They don't understand the depths of your pain. You don't understand what I've been through. You don't understand how hard it's been on me, the pressure. My family dynamic, I stayed in a 19-year marriage because divorce was not an option. I promised my husband when I married him that I would die before I left him. And when I left, I had shame and guilt because I broke my promise. And it was my children that reflected to me. And I realized that no, I kept my promise because I died in every way a human being could die. I was just a physical body walking. My essence was gone. I thought, if this is life, then why am I here? Please, somebody blow that red light so I could be done. And it was an act of kindness and an act of somebody just seeing me beyond what I had done or beyond what I had presented. that woke me up to believing that I might just be enough to stick around. Burnout becomes your baseline, intimacy suffers, self-doubt quietly rules your decisions. You may succeed outwardly, but inside you feel empty. And guess what? It leads to a bigger belief that you have to do this and that you're alone. And it's a vicious cycle that brings us right back to that unworthiness. So I'll buckle up, put on my suit, and go do something more. Fierce grace is something I developed based on the depths of pain, understanding that without light, we don't know dark. And that if we start to see our adversity, we start to see what is keeping me from being unstoppable, what's keeping me from going to that next level. And we recognize that our depths of darkness was not meant to take us out, it was meant to wake us up. To wake us up to our divinity, to be able to say, no more. It's trauma-informed and spiritual remembrance. And I say spiritual because you hear me talk about essence and wholeness, because I think we are born divine perfection. We just made up a story of who we think we are based on our experiences we didn't know. It's designed for high achievers. I've coached so many that have constantly chased worthiness on that next achievement, only to be exhausted, burnt out, and gazing out the window wondering how they got here. They have all the things, but they lost their soul. It's here to heal you. It's not more doing. I think in personal development now we're taught to move through our limitations, to move through our belief systems. Hey, you know what? Change your state, change your mind, shake it off, which is great. We need those tools. But what's happening is we aren't healing. We're stepping into doing more things to move through our limitations. And guess what? When we get on the other side and we find ourselves stuck, it invites a deeper level of shame, a deeper level of unworthiness. Why? Because, well, I read the books and I did what the coach told me and, you know, I went to the seminars, but here I am. Why am I still stuck? We are knowing our way out of healing. And once you're able to actually heal, you upgrade the operating system so the new software can actually work. This is where you get to reclaim your purpose and your passion. You get to understand that the depth of darkness is converse to the height of your light, if you're willing to grasp it. Here are just some of the physicians I've worked with. Stopped performing and started living. This doctor would show up and it was literally like a mechanic going to the shop. It was robotic and he had lost himself. It was just show up, do the work, mechanic, go back home. Dr. Priya had tons of family pressure, family judgment, siblings that would criticize her when she would do great things. Oh, who do you think you are? And parents that told her it was never enough. She didn't know how to break free from the chains of what her family had engraved in her head. She didn't know how to find herself. And Dr. Jimmy, his was fun. He went to his office and he greeted his patients with hugs. Why? Because he had disconnected so much, he was having resentment toward his patients. He was having resentment towards having to show up and take care of them. He was so exhausted. When he was able to find himself again, he started hugging his patients hello, and he had the hugest smile, and it was such a beautiful liberation. It was my honor to serve him. So I wanted to give you an opportunity, if you really find truth in some of the things I've shared, some of the things these beautiful ladies have shared, don't wait. Reach out. I'm here to serve you, and I'm here to ensure that the level of mastery that you've created by being where you're at today, with all you've accomplished, is accompanied by your soul's richness, your soul's wholeness, your actual happiness, not just a smile we paint on our faces, not just a doing, but a being. You feel surrendered and in love, not just with life, but with yourself. That emotional connection creates mastery in the rest of your days. So let's release the armor. Let's redefine leadership from fear-driven to soul-led. It's time to reclaim your sensitivity, your emotional well-being, your purpose, and your peace. And lastly, the Fierce Grace knows that you're ready. If you'd like, there's a 10-step guide to freedom that I put on this barcode where you can take steps right now, no matter what your situation, no matter what you've gone through, because I know often people are like, oh, well, Jessie, you don't understand. That's your story, but you don't understand mine. I'm stuck. Trust that when I tell you this 10-step guide will have you take action right now, today, towards your freedom. And if you'd like to connect with me, I'd be honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you, Jessie, for opening out your heart and sharing your journey. We feel for you, and we are actually also having a positive attitude to the techniques that you have provided on how you can allow yourself to heal, allow your soul to heal, and give yourself some grace. So thank you, thank you. Big round of applause for all our speakers. Our next speaker was Dr. Apoorva Ramaswamy. She, due to unforeseen circumstances, could not be here with us today. However, she has been gracious to send us a video, which let's share and let's watch together.
Good afternoon. First, I want to say how sorry I am not to be there with you in person. I'm currently pregnant, and I've been navigating a fair amount of nausea. The organizers were kind enough to let me share this talk by video, and I'm grateful for their flexibility and for the chance to speak to all of you. I've been asked to speak about imposter syndrome, and to be honest, it's never really resonated with me. Not because I've never felt uncertain or stretched, but because I was raised with a different frame of reference. My parents came to this country from India almost 20 years ago. My father was a foreign medical graduate, already trained, and yet he still had to start all over. He did another research fellowship, another residency, and somehow he went on to help pioneer robotic surgery. Today, he's chair of urology at Mount Sinai. His story and my parents' example instilled in us a deep sense of responsibility. The idea was simple. If you have the skills and the drive, then it's your job to show up. Both of our parents raised us with the story of Arjuna, who had the original imposter crisis on the battlefield, despite being the most skilled warrior and having Krishna on his side. Krishna didn't tell him to fake it or build up his confidence. He just said, this is your dharma, your duty. When you're doing your duty, you're never alone. And no matter the outcome, it's our job to do our best. My dad has a similar saying, his version of the Nike slogan. He says, just Nike it. If there's work to do, don't talk yourself out of it, just do it. That mindset carried me into my first faculty position. When I came out of fellowship and looked to join the faculty at Ohio State, I knew there were already 4 laryngologists. We were in a COVID hiring freeze, and it wasn't obvious that the department needed a 5th. But I believe that what I brought, dysphagia expertise, particularly in head and neck cancer survivors, was something the department, one of the busiest head and neck cancer programs in the country, didn't yet know it was missing. So I made my case. I said, you may not think you need this yet, but your patients do. It wasn't about confidence, it was about clarity. And over time, the program has grown. The need has become undeniable, and that small opening has become a key part of the department's mission and growth. Now, I know that many women, especially in medicine, wrestle with imposter syndrome, and I respect that. When you're often the youngest in the room, or the only one who looks like you, it's easy to wonder whether you truly belong. But for me, it's never been about whether I felt like I belonged. It was always about whether there was something I could contribute. And if there was, then I didn't question my right to be there. And that brings me to where I am now. I'm pregnant with our 3rd child. I'm bringing life into the world, and I'll be honest, it's hard. But I also know this, raising children is one of the most ambitious things a person can do. And yet, women have been doing it for millennia, because they're our children. It's our duty, and we do our best. So whether you're carrying a child, starting a new program, founding a company, or running for political office, you don't need perfect certainty. You need clarity and integrity. And you need to remember what's yours to do. And then, As my father says, just Nike it. Thank you so much.
So we thank Dr. Apoorva Ramaswamy for her insight and the positive attitude she has and how to deal with the negativities in our life. And she interestingly mentions Krishna, which a lot of us use as a source of energy. So thank you to Dr. Ramaswamy. I do want to mention she's an assistant professor at The Ohio State University, and she's an otolaryngologist and treats patients with voice disorders, post-cancer treatment. So thank you to everyone for the wonderful forum that we've had. We now open up the house for questions to the audience. So anyone has a question?
I think Dr. Anjali Gulati, Dr. Kavita Jyotula are helping with the questions. Do you guys need them?
First of all, thank you for a wonderful, wonderful speech from every one of you. And when I see all of you there, and Debbie, you said about imposter syndrome, Geeta spoke, Divya spoke, and now you, Jessie, from an observer's perspective, I look at you and say, of course, you are meant to be where you are. There should be no doubt in your mind. You all are absolutely, incredibly, phenomenally successful women. So, big hands for all of them. If I had seen you all 30 years ago, I could have seen this is where you all will be today. Okay, who has questions? All right, there are no questions. Everyone's sitting and wondering.
Everybody's got 100?
Yes.
Since nobody's asking questions, I'll ask one. I wish there was a male panelist there. I should have been there myself. I always feel I don't belong wherever I was. But I did not internalize all the dialogues in my head like what Divya did and Jessie did and Debbie did. But I just did it. And I'm relatively successful in my career and my life and my personal life as well. So I wish I'll be joining in your panelist section next time around. Give me an invitation, Divya. Thank you.
I will. So 1 in 4 male physicians, 1 in 4 male physicians also experience imposter syndrome. So the more qualified you are, the more you think you don't know enough. So that's the paradox of imposter syndrome. Despite the longer your list of accolades, the less competent you might feel.
I can't read without you.
You might feel that. So that is the whole paradox of imposter syndrome. So any questions?
Yes, this is Dr. Sushil, and she has a question. She's an ER physician.
I don't have a question, but I have a compliment. And I have a compliment for the nurse. It takes a good nurse to raise a good doctor. And I can tell you that from my experience that I had a very good nurse. Her name was Shirley in the emergency room when I was a resident. And I have worked at your hospital, in a Christ hospital, twice in an ER. So take a, solace that you have raised the good doctors.
Thank you. Okay, we have another question here. Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you for that. You know what, I think what you say there is really important because it's really all about all of us together. Right? None of us would be sitting up here if it wasn't for those around us. And whether I resemble almost every characteristic of imposter syndrome or not, I could never have achieved what I've achieved if there hadn't been a group of people around me. And I may not have even known that they were supporting me, but they were, because they were asking questions and they were challenging me, and then they were working with me when I needed them most. So I very much thank you for that. I have had the great pleasure of working with thousands of physicians in my career, and I always think we make each other much better.
Thank you, David.
I have a question. First off, thank you so much. My name is Sam Morales. I come from California. Thank you so much for the panelists and fantastic talks. So I have a quick question. So, first off, I have to be honest that I've never heard of imposter syndrome until today. So I'm I'm so happy to be enlightened on this topic. So my question is, I believe this perhaps happens a lot in workplace environment, and it's more work-related kind of thing. So do these have an imposter syndrome? Are there specific traits in a child growing up, like when you look at the DSM criteria? I'm not a psychiatrist, but when you look at learning behaviors and development of a child with low self-esteem or any of those low self-confidence which they face as a child when they're growing up, does it reflect naturally on them being highly predisposed to an imposter syndrome? So that early interventions can be helpful for them in the future, and perhaps more awareness of imposter syndrome happening to these individuals.
I think I'm going to take that. I had done some research over the years. So there are environmental factors and childhood factors that predispose to imposter syndrome. One of them is, and these are some of the reasons why we really need to talk about this, the community standards, the parental standards, the expectations of being perfect, of getting that 100, of getting that achievement, of moving forward. So parents can create an environment wherein a child can be predisposed to that. And then as we move forward from the parents, it's the society, it's the Indian society, the immigrant experience of being successful. And even in India, you see this a lot, and other cultures as well. And then if we get into the culture of medicine, we expect 100%. We don't give 100%, people die. So we are really, there is a balance that we have to achieve. One, by talking about these things. Every time we look at someone, we think, oh, they have it all together. Every woman, I mean, when I look at any woman, I think she has it all together, but I am here to tell you that we do not. And it is time we start having these conversations. And I think I'm going to give it up to anybody who wants to add.
I'd love to add, that's such a great question, and I appreciate it, because if we can get an edge ahead on our children, I think it would be fantastic. And what I would say to that is, when we ask about parenting, don't ask about how you could be the best parent. Ask how you can be the best adult you want your children to become. Because they watch us, and if they have you in their corner, because here's the thing, life is going to hit them. It might not be you. You might be doing an amazing job. Some teacher might say it, or some bully at school, or some other child that they just constantly get loved on, and they watch how much love they get because they have the perfect batting average, or whatever it is they think is the thing. And they start to do that comparison. But if they have you in their corner, reminding them of who they are, reminding them of their power, their beauty, their magnificence, and that they are meant to be who they are, then they have the best shot. So it's not something that it's like we can stop it no matter what, but at least they can have us as a champion in their arena. And I told that to my son recently. My son's 39, and he's going through stuff because our children, they never stop being our children. And I told him, I go, look, I'm not here to solve it for you, but I am your biggest champion, and I know you've got this. I know you have the power to do it, and I want you to know you're not alone. And from that, he can pull his power to make decisions for himself. So ultimately, can we stop it completely? Not really, because life is going to happen. But if they have you in their corner reminding them of their magnificence, then at least they have a shot.
Thank you. We have two more questions. I know we have a time crunch, but we'll make it quick. Two last questions.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this amazing conversation. I've been having this feeling for quite some time, but I did not know what to name it But now I know what it is, and I'm going to deal with it. And I'm really grateful for this session. That's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, that's why we do it, for the generations to come.
Okay, last question is from Dr. Razia Sheikh.
Hi, I'm really nervous because I'm sharing my aspect to you in terms of imposter syndrome. I have been striving hard to stay alone throughout my journey. I figured out my steps. I figured out coming to this conference, and I had no one literally telling me anything so far. So does this mean that I am vulnerable to have imposter syndrome, or would it be like a negative aspect because I'm alone? I'm just wanting to know this because many people keep telling me that you should be in a group, you should be surrounded by friends, you should have known that before. So this is something that popped up with this concept today. So I would really appreciate if you could advise me on this.
So did you say you're alone in the sense of you prefer to be by yourself versus in groups or things like that? Is that?
In terms of me being alone, I feel like being alone is my strength. It has been my strength so far, and that is why I'm here today. Now, when I am here, it feels like I have been lost on a lot of things, and I don't know if this is counting into this syndrome now.
I'm not sure if this is going to help, and maybe we can take the conversation later, or you could grab any of us. I'm just going to say this. It appears to me that maybe we are talking about being an introvert versus being an extrovert. This is something that I am a deeply introverted person. So it may never appear to somebody or whatever, but I'm deeply introverted, and it has always been a struggle to put myself out there. It's not something that comes very easily. But I do understand that there is a balance in life, and that there are times for me to be effective, for me to do certain things, then I have to put myself out there. But if you are happy where you are, if you are fine achieving, making goals, meeting them, and you just prefer to do them by yourself, and you do not prefer to be around a lot of people, then that is entirely up to you. And that's where I mean voices inside and out are going to push you in various directions, but you are going to be the one holding your center and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I will do. And I mean, I have not been out there ever for years, because that was not something that I could manage. I have a certain quota for extroversion, and then I'm gone. So then I have to know myself. Does that help?
Such a great question. If I understood it correctly, I think that there is safety in being in our own essence, right? We can pump ourselves up. We can really, really empower ourselves. We're not meant to go it alone. So when we co-relate with others and we bring our essence to a room of other people, that's where the biggest test is, right? Because it's now it's like, oh, well, I thought I had it together, but she's got blah, 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 and maybe I should do that, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I want more, right? Or I want to be like that. And that's where our mindset starts to spin. We're not meant to go it alone, but when you're able to, my daughter said this too, she's newly in a relationship, and she's like, I'm good when it's just him and me. If we just stay home, then I don't need to. And then she goes out in the world, and there's other women involved, and there's other beauty, and there's other challenges, and all of a sudden, all her inhibitions come up. And she's like, and she just wants to take him and go on an island somewhere, and that's her safety. But it's her fear. Right? It's her fear of not enoughness. It's like, if I go out there, I can feel confident in the relationship right here while we're in private. But put me out there in the world, and now I'm comparing myself to that girl and her achievement and how she behaves. And, oh, wow, he looked at her, and what does that mean? And then our minds can spin, right? And then that's where it invites. So I honor you for recognizing that there's something different happening the minute you come out into this space. And I honor you for coming, because it took that inspiration. So I invite that when you do see others, or when you come into a room like this with so many amazing people, that you bring inspiration. that you let their achievements, their accomplishments, what you think, because again, like Dr. Navani said, sometimes we make up a story of their success and we don't know what's really going on in their world, right? But whatever you do see that you like, let it inspire you to be a bigger expansion of you versus contract you and make you self-doubt, right? Or make you think that maybe I wasn't all that in a bag of chips. Okay, I got to get back to work, right? Just let it be an inspiration and pick and choose what it is you want and what you love.
Thank you, everyone.
The question is so phenomenal. We have two more gentlemen right here.
I'm very much impressed when I heard all these things. Now, just think about whatever you say, go exactly 180-degree opposite way. In my childhood, in our family, not one single person educated. There is no book in the house because nobody went to school. Every time I start studying, my father took the book away from me. He says, no books, no study. And I say, why? I don't understand you. He says, look, I have a business. If you stay with me, you will have in 10 years, you will be so experienced and you can do your own business. So that's all he's in mind. So I have completely opposite way, no pressure. I wish somebody can help me. I wish somebody can do something for me. My goodness, I cry. I pray a God. I say, help, help, help. And there is no help. What would you do in this situation?
Amazing question.
I think as children, we are kind of stuck with the parents we have. Our children are stuck with us, whoever we are. There's not much we can do, but I think as we grow older, we have to understand, one, the humanity of our parents. They also had parents. And then the second thing, I think what we're talking about is parenting the child, parenting the soul of the child. What is the soul crying for? What are they here for? So I think in your case, it was the opposite of what maybe some of us experienced, or I'm guilty, did that to my boys. Come and stand next to me and say that is like, do more, do better, do this. So I think both ways, it's a problem. And it's something that now we can talk about, we can be aware, we can do a little bit better.
Sure. I think what Dr. Navani said is very true. I think that, especially when it comes to our children, it's leading them back to themselves. Spend quiet time, go introspection. What is the truth within you? And we get lost. We think the answers are outside of ourselves. And that's one of the things my son, as I mentioned recently, he doesn't want to bring me his problems, right? He doesn't want to burden me because he knows I worry and I want his joy. And so he has, a tough time. But I tell him it's okay because I am here for that. That's who I am for you. But I get to redirect him back to his divinity. Who are you? Who do you know yourself? And if you don't know the answer of that, then it's time for you to do some introspection, do some journaling, spend some quiet time, go to meditation, find the answers within because they are there. You've just thought they were outside of you, not inside of you.
Thank you. So out of all the people that have asked questions, I don't know if you realize there is a huge emotional presence there because they have suffered that personal trauma. So Suresh ji, I have some advice for you. Out of all the questions that were asked, you had the most emotion. You underwent that in your childhood. You're not old. So it's time, get a one-on-one personal coach and take care of it. It will help you. All right, so here is the last question. We saved the best for the last because she's the one who's telling me, wrap it up, so I saved her for last. This is the chair of our Board of Trustees, the incoming chair, Dr. Hetal Gaur. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali, for amazing moderation, and thank you, the panelists and everybody, for taking time. Usually, unfortunately, this always happens with Women's Forum, and we have made a big stride from being in one tiny room to a main stage. So let's celebrate what we have achieved so far, right? I know Divya knows my views on this topic, so I'm not going to go completely tangential to what you guys have been talking about, but thank you so much. I believe in positivity. I believe in good vibrations. I believe that a woman, the best thing we can do for other women is to create the circle of sisterhood that they could rely on. We become mentors to the young one, to your colleagues, and take this self-doubt and negativity out, because the more you think, the more negativity, it gets very hard to kind of be that. It's human to doubt ourselves. It's human, as somebody mentioned earlier, even Krishna and Arjun's dialogues were, but it was more about a doubt. Am I doing the right thing? Am I good? It's not about, am I good enough? It was more of a self-doubt that I know I'm a good warrior, but am I killing my cousins? That's the kind of a thing. So I truly believe we as human are meant, because we are intellectuals, we are supposed to have positivity and negativity at the same time. We are our best critic as such. But let's get this positivity going. And I heard a lot of women with a lot of passion, and I've done so many leadership, and it sometimes brings really inner doubt out sometime in open forum to unknown people, and that means that you did a good job of bringing that thought out. So my positive thing to take home from here is let's we women and men invited as well, let's create a system to help each other out, to reach out and bring those who doubt or are questioning or are they in just bad situations. So let's get the vibrations of positivity going. An amazing job, and we're going to have a good time going forward with Women's Forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gaur. So one last comment. It's a question. So everybody keeps quoting Arjun. The original imposter syndrome was a man. What is the statistics today? Because all the men left when they decided it was imposter women. They thought it's a women's problem. What are the statistics, women versus men, in the imposter syndrome?
They're pretty high. Like I said, 1 in 4 male physicians.
And how about women?
1 in 2.
I thought it was 4 on 4.
So yeah, it's very high for men too. It's very high. And there have been studies, they are not controlled for general population. They even go as high as 80%, so 9 or 10% to 80% general population. So 10% general population is still a very high number. But the higher you go, the more qualified you are, the more there is. Because it's like almost you are breathing a rarefied air. All the people around you are rarefied. They are more qualified. So then you start revolving in those circles, and it just increases. That's my understanding. Thank you so much. Any last comments from any of our panelists? Anything, Debbie?
I would just like to say thank you for inviting me here, and I could not agree more with the comment of we need positivity. And as women in the room, and even as men in the room, as physicians and healthcare leaders, we need to prop people up. We need to make sure that we are always acknowledging the amazing work that is being done, because there are a lot of forces here in the United States in particular right now that are trying to paint the picture that we're not good enough. And I would say we're darn good, and we need to speak up and make sure that we are supporting each other.
Thank you very much as well for allowing this space and for allowing us to serve you. And agreed, I think that emotions are not positive or negative, they just are. And if you're mad about something, bring that to deeper conviction to serve humanity so that we can come strong, right? Being fierce in your conviction to love and to serve is powerful. Being in grace to be able to love and show nurture and care and understand that all emotions are welcome. But let's turn it into power so that we can live our purpose that we're meant to live here on earth. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'd like to invite Ms. Debbie Hayes. I'd like to honor her with a plaque for her participation. Dr. Nath. Jessie, you can come on too. We'll just bring her. Thank you. Dr. Kathula. Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you. I'd love to. Yeah. Thank you you so much.
This is for Deborah Hayes, Christ Hospital, Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Please hold that.
I'm not done.
Thank you.
This is for Jessie.
Thank you so much for coming all the way to Ohio.
Thank you, Jessie. Thank you.
Jessie, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Put it over there, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And last but not the least, Dr. Divya Navani.
Outstanding Service Award to Divya Navani. Please give her a big round of applause. With very short amount of time, she put this together. She has done a wonderful job.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Divya. Appreciate that. We have one more.
Doctor, don't go away.
Let's give a... So Dr. Geeta, thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Geeta, look at here, please.
So Geeta is the local, the host chapter president, and she has done an amazing job. Thank you, Geeta, for being here.
Okay, picture time, please.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
And I'd like to invite Dr. Hetal Kaur, Dr. Meher Medavaram, These ladies have helped me put this together. Could not have done it without your help. Thank you so much. All of you. Thank you. Satish, you can be the Krishna.
Before we take a picture, Dr. Kathula has an announcement.
So next year we are going to announce the panel for next year. We'll have the same panel plus Dr. Ravi Kohli.
Special thanks to Dr.